Hello and welcome to today's webinar on integrating Microsoft Dynamics GP with other applications such as CRMs like Salesforce. This is brought to you by DBSync. We're going to be talking about leveraging our cloud workflow iPaaS solution to go ahead and automate all of your data needs between these disparate systems. Now, a little bit about us and who we are. We've been in this space for well over a decade. We're actually one of the fastest growing private companies in the US in the Inc. 5000. We're highly reviewed on the different marketplaces such as AppExchange, Microsoft's AppSource, and the Intuit Marketplace. We're partnered with Salesforce. With Microsoft, we're actually a gold partner as well as an ISV partner. Also partnered with other application providers such as Sage and Intuit and more. We have offices in the Bay Area, Nashville, and Bangalore as well. And plenty of folks like myself who work remote. I'm actually based out of Atlanta. Now, a little bit about what people are saying about us. I think it's really important when you're vetting any software solution that you get a feel for what the customers are actually saying about the product. And if you check us out on different marketplaces such as G2 Crowd, Capterra, AppExchange, AppSource, and many of the other marketplaces, you'll see we have pretty much a 5-star rating across the board, and people speaking not just on the reliability of our software, but also on our support team, which is really crucial when you're doing these integration projects. And at this stage, we've got customers in 5 continents, over 800 customers actually, and we're syncing over 2 billion records a day. And that number of customers is a little deceiving, because we actually have folks that are using our platform to service hundreds of their own customers as well. So there's really thousands of people using DBSync every day. We've done over 2,000 implementations ourselves. And as you can see, it's across a variety of industries, everything from healthcare to the service industry, to manufacturing, to the financial markets. We operate with everyone from small to medium business up to enterprise and mid as well. So we cover quite a wide range, and it's our job to really understand your needs for integration and use our expertise to show you how you can remove as many of those manual human touch points as possible. So if you think about DBSync, it's really a platform that allows all of these systems that don't have native ways to communicate a way to do so. Now, we're going to be focusing on Dynamics GP and Salesforce today, but I did want to show you we do connect a variety of different types of applications, and that's everything from e-commerce solutions to field service management software to shipping and logistics and warehouse and inventory management software, as well as all of the major databases. And this is really only a fraction of the integrations that we do. We have about 40 pre-built connectors ready to go to help you get connected and really start building a single data source for your enterprise to take advantage of for data warehousing, BI, analytics, and really remove, again, all of that manual work that you might be having your accounting team doing, your sales team doing, and of course, giving you that better insight into your customer journey along the way. So if we talk about some of the features of the DBSync platform, now we've got pre-built solutions, and along with those, we have a template library. So for things like Salesforce and Dynamics GP integration, we've got an out-of-the-box template that integrates a lot of the objects that a lot of folks are coming to us to integrate. So you can get up and running in hours as opposed to taking months for some of these integration projects if you're doing that internally. And we can be deployed on cloud or on-premise. We're compliance approved. So if you're in an industry that deals with regulations like SOC 2 compliance or HIPAA compliance, we can absolutely go ahead and meet that criteria for you. We've got built-in data security. We've got in-memory transformation. We push and pull the data. We don't store anything ourselves, so you own your data. And we allow you the ability to modernize with data lakes using AWS Cloud. And as I mentioned, we do have these templates. And if you're looking at the screen right now, what you're seeing is a typical data flow between CRM and accounting. Now, you can sub in any system you might be using here. In this case, let's think of it as Salesforce and GP as the ERP. Now, you might be managing your pipeline in Salesforce. At a certain time, an opportunity might be closed won, and you want to see the corresponding accounting transaction come over into GP, whether that's an SOP order, an invoice. We can go ahead and create those transactions automatically. So you no longer have your sales team bugging your accounting team and asking them to input this information so that they can get those invoices. We're really speeding up that order to cash process for you. Likewise, you can apply your payments in your accounting system and then see that reflected back into CRM so that you've got an accurate view of what's going on with your business and be able to run reports within Salesforce so that you can actually see and have a pulse of what is taking place on a day-to-day basis. And again, this is just a template. We actually allow the ability to integrate any number of objects, all of the ones that are actually exposed via the APIs. And that includes things like custom objects too. So even if you're not using those out-of-the-box opportunities or orders in Salesforce, we can still integrate with a fully custom entity. So now I'm going to hand it over to Yash, and he's going to explain a little bit about the best practices for integrating CRM with Dynamics GP.
Thank you, Connor. So we're going to dive into the best practices that we need to keep in mind while implementing an integration between the CRM and Dynamics GP. Some of the most important things that are required to make sure that we have a successful integration that is beneficial as well as usable is to ensure that we have the proper requirements. So one of the first steps that we have to keep in mind while building any sort of integration is to have a clear workflow to understand how different objects, whether they are existing objects or custom objects, how they get related in your accounting and in your CRM systems. So a flow chart like the one that is available on your screen usually helps us give a clear picture of how different objects are interacting with each other and how they are related to each other in terms of, you can see how one account can have multiple invoices. You could have multiple line items attached to one invoice. And similarly, you have transaction entries on your GP, which are again connected to your CRM systems. So once we have a clear understanding of the requirement, the next part is defining master data. Here's why it's important to define the master data. Having two different teams work on two different softwares, enter or change the data in both the places will always lead to confusion in terms of synchronization, especially when we are using an application to do it. So it is really important to identify one of your systems. It could be CRM or the accounting system, to make it the master data for one of the objects. So let's say if we are integrating accounts to customers, we might want Salesforce to be our master data for accounts. And when integrating your payments to CRM systems, you might want Dynamics to be the master data. So it is just important to identify which object or which platform you'd be using as a master data throughout this process. The next part is the data flow triggers. So the flow triggers are nothing but when you want to run this synchronization, right? So in your CRM and accounting integration, you would usually have your sales reps go to accounting system to create an invoice when they have marked the opportunity as closed won. So that becomes our trigger point, that whenever an opportunity is marked as closed won, you trigger a workflow which can create a respective invoice or estimate on your GP. Similarly, on GP, whenever a payment is marked, you might want to bring that over to your CRM system. So those are the triggers that we need to identify in both the source and the target system to ensure that the data flow is smooth. The next step is design and data mapping. So this step usually involves identifying what are the specific fields or within these objects and entities, which particular fields you might want to map over to the other system. So since these are both disparate systems and the primary purpose of a CRM tool and an accounting tool is very different, you might not need all the data that is available on either of these systems to flow back to the other system because of the very nature of how these systems work. So it is really important to identify what are the required fields that you would want to map. So for example, on an accounts or customer object, you might want the name, email ID, but you might not want, say, the billing address or the shipping address. Or so depending on your requirement or the workflow that your company processes, we can define and design the data mapping that will allow us to ensure that a successful integration is implemented. The next part is the testing and validation. So the testing and validation is really important because once you replace the manual system with an integration, you have to confirm that the integration is working as per the requirement. So some of the ways to handle this is create test cases, create sandbox accounts that you can test the integration on, and then test for the volume of records that you are importing to ensure that the integration is able to successfully handle the amount of transactions that you would handle on a daily basis manually. The next part is the pre-go live part. So pre-go live is nothing but ensuring that we set up the integration on both the systems. So on your CRM systems, you might have a way to connect to the API through, it could be a SOAP API, it could be a REST API, it could be an XML API. So you might have different ways to configure these connections on your CRM system. Similarly, on GP, we will have a different way to connect by using the WSDL web services on GP side. So it is really important to identify which version of GP you are using and what are the integration that it supports, and ensure that you go with an integration that can support your existing GP versions. And DBSync provides out-of-the-box integration for all GP versions. The next part would be the go live part. So once we have defined how the integration is going to work, what is the master data, what will be the different triggers that will trigger the flow, we have tested and validated the integration on a sandbox environment. The next part is to go live. So at this point, it's really important to create backups of your Microsoft Dynamics GP as well as your Salesforce, just to make sure that you have a backup available if something goes wrong. And then once you implement the integration and validate, it is ideal if you can do this during the downtime of your business, so as none of your regular business gets impacted. And you can ensure that you can check and validate each of the transactions and data flows that the integration is creating by using some test records. So after you go live, one of the most important steps that gets usually missed or overlooked is the data migration into Salesforce or GP. It is really important to migrate your existing data by creating linkages by using names or IDs on both the systems to ensure that the integration can work smoothly for your existing data as well as the new data that might come into the picture after you start using the integration. So yeah, without data migration, what we have observed is that sometimes for your old data, the integration might not work successfully because they are not linked in either of the systems, and the integration might end up creating new records, which will ensure that there are duplicates across the systems, and then it will just add on to the efforts. So it is really important to identify what data needs to be migrated and migrate this as soon as you go live so that the integration can work smoothly. For all of this information, there is a white paper that we have created that you can refer to, which will be shared by Connor after this webinar. And we'd be happy to listen to any questions that you have and answer them. Thank you, Connor.
Awesome. Thanks, Yash. Really appreciate that. Now, at this time, we're going to go ahead and hand it over to Ulis, who is going to be showing you guys a product demo and letting you see the integration working in a live environment.
This is Ullas from DBSync. In today's call, I would be showing you the demo between Salesforce and Great Plains. All right, so I've logged into my DBSync website out here, and I just wanted to give you a brief overview of what is integratable through DBSync from Salesforce and GP. We provide a bidirectional integration. And as you can see here in the flowchart diagram, the account information, opportunity information, and product information from Salesforce would be integrated as customer, SOP code, SOP order, SOP invoices, and items in Great Plains. So this is the data flow diagram, which comes under the out-of-the-box template. In case if you have any custom objects, we can certainly integrate it as well from Salesforce to Great Plains. All right, and vice versa. So this is our technical documentation page, wherein you can get it from our website resource section. So you have to go to resources documentation, and you need to click on the iPaaS cloud workflow. So this is the tool. And if you click on the wiki, it would take you to this particular page. And let me create a set of records and start integrating it from Salesforce and Great Plains. Let me log into my DBSync instance. So you can see the login button out here. You go to login, cloud workflow, and I would provide my credentials out here, and I would sign in. So post sign in, you need to click on the Development Studio button, which is there on the top right corner, and it would take you to the project section. You can click on the project section and open your project. So post opening the project, what you need to be doing is you need to be connecting DBSync to both your Salesforce and Great Plains instances. All right, so let me go back to DBSync and go to the connector section and connect it as well. So I'll be connecting my Salesforce instance. We use auth configuration to connect Salesforce. Post connection, I would be saving it and validating the connection. So I would be going to the advanced property section out here. I would be saving it and I would be validating the connection. Awesome. So here we are successfully connected to Salesforce instance. So I'll be connecting my Great Plains instance as well. So this is the requirements which you need to add on. These are the details. See, by default, eConnect port would be 18888 and the data source name, which is there out here. Okay, so this is my data source name, and 2 is my database name. So I've given all these details out here. I would be validating the connection and I would be saving it. So we are successfully connected to both the Salesforce and CreatePlane instances. So let me go to the processes section. You can integrate the data manually by clicking on this Run Now button out here, or you can automate your integration using the scheduler functionality for every 15 minutes, 30 minutes, every hour, or daily once as per your business requirement. Right. So these are the workflows, pre-built workflows, which you can turn it on, turn it off as per your business requirement. Right. In today's call, I would be showing you the integration from Salesforce opportunity to SOP transaction, SOP order to Great Plains. All right. Let me create some sample record. I'll be creating a new account, which is not there in my GP. All right. So I'll name the account as Connor Evans, and I'll just save it. So I've just created a new account out here. I'll be creating a new opportunity as well. I'll name it as Great Plains Order 1, and I'll give the mandatory fields that are required, and I'll save it. I'll make it as closed one, and I'll save it. So I've created a new account, new opportunity. I'll add a product to this particular opportunity as well. Great Plain Order. So I've added 2 products. I'll give the quantity as well. I'll give the line description as well. I'll save it. So I have a opportunity with account information and product related to it. So how I would be triggering the integration is, so here, as I showed you earlier in our documentation page, we are listed on Salesforce App Exchange as well, where you can download this managed package onto your Salesforce. Post downloading the managed package, certain fields would be there on that where you can add it on to your standard objects such as accounts, contacts, opportunities, and products, and customize it on your page layout. So I've already done it. I'll be showing you that all these fields post installing the managed package from App Exchange, you would be getting all these fields. Okay. Certain fields are trigger fields, wherein you need to be selecting those, and certain field are ID fields, which gets updated back post the record gets integrated to Great Plains. So here you can see this particular opportunity is created. How you would be triggering this integration is, you can see a GP transaction field here. It's a pick list field. You need to be selecting this if you wish to integrate this as a sales order or a receivable. So you need to select this. As of now, I would be integrating this as a sales order transaction. And I would also select the batch ID, and the transaction type is order, and the doc ID is STD order, ORD is order. And I'll just be saving it. So this record is triggered, and if you have automated your integration using the scheduler, it gets integrated at that particular time. Or if you wish to run the integration manually, trigger it, you can just come here and click on Run Now. So in this demo call, I would be running it manually. Yeah, within a few seconds, the integration is completed. And let me go back to my Salesforce. And once I refresh this page, if this particular record is integrated to Great Plains, you get a success message saying that sales order updated. If not, you get a message that sales order not updated. So let's see, once it is updated successfully, you get this ID value also from Great Plains to Salesforce. Okay, let me refresh this page. Let me come back to that particular section. There you go. So as I told you earlier, this particular record is successfully integrated. So it is DBSync 000578 is the transaction ID, and you see a success message out here. So let me go to my Great Plains and verify this. So I'll be going to the sales transaction entry, right? And the order is selected. Let me search for that particular doc. There you go. Let me just double check. It's 577. Yeah, you can see here it's today's list 25/8, 25/8. So this is the particular record. Let me open this particular record. There you go. You could see here the customer name was Connor Events, and I had added two different products by the name Apple AirPod and 12A product. The quantity was 2 and 1 respectively. This particular record from Salesforce is successfully integrated with all the necessary batch ID information, customer details, and product details as well. All right. So this is a simple integration which DBSync supports. And you can also integrate the same from GP to Salesforce as well. All right. So let me go back to my Salesforce. So just wanted to show you that side by side. Yeah. There you go. You can see the doc number 578. This is 578. And the customer name is Connor Events. This is the product. These two are the products that are there. So it is pretty straightforward. The integration is certainly beneficial. That would certainly save you time and money. There would be no double data entry or duplicates that would be created based on IDs we would be integrating, and each and every ID is unique for each and every record. So I just wanted to let you know on that. So this is pretty much it from the demo standpoint. And I also wanted to show you on the automation part. So let me go back to DBSync. So how you automate this integration? Right now, I ran the integration manually using this Run Now button. If you want to automate your integration, you can go to the scheduler and you can select the processes which are turned on there. And you can set it every 15 minutes or 30 minutes or 45 minutes and save it so that the integration keeps on running at the back end. Or you can keep it in an hourly base every hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Or if you want to run it on a daily basis, you can select on which particular day and which particular hour of that particular day, and you can save it. And the integration gets triggered. All right. At that particular time, whatever records are created on Salesforce or in GP, that gets simultaneously integrated either ways. Okay, so this is the data flow diagram. It's a bidirectional integration. You need to let us know what you want to integrate and we can customize it. You can automate and chill with DBSync. So in case if you have any questions or anything, once you log into our website, you would be able to see a chatbot. All right, you can see here as well. You can chat with one of our representative and get your queries resolved, or you can also contact us at sales@mydbsync.com. I repeat, sales@mydbsync.com. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.